Welcome back to Scroll Sessions. This is going to be a part 2 of episode 1 where Dan and I have some very important questions we need to ask each other. These are a little bit more tailored towards Utah, tailored towards entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And we're going to dive right in like Michael Phelps.
Yeah. Well, should we start with things we never do or things we do, or do we want to talk about Utah startups first?
Let's talk about Utah startups.
Okay.
So a question that I had posed this morning while writing notes on my phone is, Dan, who are your favorite Utah startups?
Yeah, and I picked, like I did think about this morning.
And why?
And I picked some that are kind of like maybe not as well known, but they're still like, they're killing it.
Okay.
So one is Pressed Floral.
Oh, yeah. She just won Utah 20 in their 20s.
So she's in 20 in their 20s. Sarah or Ebert. I don't know actually how to pronounce her new married name because I know her as Sarah Farrell. So she's Jacob Farrell. It was a guy that a good friend of mine that I went to high school with, and it's his
she's married
sister.
To him?
No, it's his sister.
His
Yeah, they're not married.
Not married.
Sorry, it's his little sister. But I've followed like just her rise of Press Floral, and they're like absolutely killing it. So
they are killing it.
Yeah, they're. I mean, she has a very large staff. I think she has like over 50 people that work for her.
Yeah, millions and millions in revenue.
Yeah, they do awesome things. So Press Floral, just to explain it, Press Floral is a way to do like floral preservation post-wedding. So again, like I'm a wedding photographer. So like this was already kind of in my sphere and in my space, but basically you can send in your wedding bouquet post-wedding and they can press it and preserve it in frames. They can do like dried blooms. They can also do like all sorts of things like other bridal accessories. They can do like turn it into candles. They can turn it into like earrings and rings and all sorts of stuff.
I didn't know that.
That like preserves it for forever necessarily. And there's an art to it. Like if you go look at their website, it's gorgeous.
They're
what
great
they're able
designers.
to do. Yeah, they're amazing designers. I mean, they've been featured, like I'm just on their website looking right now, featured in like Rocky Mountain Bride, Brides Magazine, The Knot, Wedding Wire, Utah Valley Bride, The Knot, like Wedding Chicks, like some of the biggest, more or less, wedding publications in the world. And they do like 7 figures worth of revenue, probably more. I don't know the revenue figures, but it's definitely
they've got to be in the millions.
Yeah,
They're
it's definitely
it.
7 figures.
Multi
just
millions.
Really cool product, really cool idea. To give you an average, like it's starting anywhere from like $300 to all the way to like $700 probably. And so a big investment for people, but what they do is gorgeous, and it's something that if you want to preserve that stuff, it's really cool. So that's one.
So we got to get Sarah on the pod.
We do got to get Sarah on the pod. I actually reached out to her. I didn't hear back on LinkedIn. I don't think she's really active on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
I need to hit up
she's
Jacob.
She's an IG person.
But anyways, Press Floor was one. Another one was Opt Connect. So Opt Connect is actually local here in Kaysville. They're very close to Catalyst, and they're close to our office. And the CEO is Chris Baird. And Chris is a friend of mine, also a former neighbor of mine. And
that's why they're your favorite.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite. But it's just like not a lot of people, I think, that are not in that space probably know about them. But they do 8 figures in revenue. They're like going out and acquiring
a company not a lot of people have heard of, just local here in Kaysville.
Yeah, crazy.
He's doing well into the 8 figures.
Yeah, oh yeah. And they do cellular connectivity solutions. So they sell like,
know what that is.
They like connect, like let's say, like one of their things I think is like vending machines and connecting them wirelessly to like a place to be able to monitor stuff.
Oh, so like 24/7 monitoring.
Yeah. So like that's like one of their things, but cellular connectivity as a solution, right? So they work in retail, they work in energy, they do industrial and then financial, like ATM wireless connectivity, cash automation, point of sale, industrial things, and irrigation and agriculture, commercial refrigeration, stuff like that. But it's pretty cool what they do, and they're out acquire, like Chris was telling me, they're out and acquiring companies the last couple of years. They've been acquiring other companies here in the United States and
They
abroad.
do the same thing or a little bit different?
Yeah, same thing, a little bit different, and getting into new markets, like specific,
cool.
similar companies that are just in different markets they want to get into.
Okay.
So they're killing it, and that's been really cool to kind of like watch him and watch what they're all about.
I think it's cool how Press Floral has this massive following.
Yeah.
They're doing really well. And then OpConnect, not as many people know about them.
It's very niche.
Yeah, very niche. Sounds a little bit boring when it comes to like what they do.
Yeah.
Press Floral has all this excitement behind it, but they do a similar amount in revenue, I'm sure. So you look at those, and it's cool to see that you don't have to do something super sexy in order to make a lot of money. You just have to solve a problem.
You just need to find, exactly, 100%. And then one of my other ones that I put down, so there's two others. Clean Simple Eats was one, just because they're Utah-based. Erica Peterson started it, and I think it's definitely in that family, with her and her husband, and
my cousin works there.
Yeah. And they just have a cool brand, really cool product, very much driven by, influencers.
They built it a really unique way through influencers.
Yes.
Different than a lot of people do.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then the way they've gone to market in Utah, like getting I feel like I can't go anywhere without seeing them.
Harmon's has a massive wholesale agreement with them. Yeah. It's just a massive Utah brand.
Yeah, we were down in, was Kenzie? Kenzie and I were in this like random, it was a St. George random boutique, and they were like, we were at Tuacahn.
Oh, really?
We were at Tuacahn, and it was in the gift shop, and they had this massive Clean Simple Eats display in the Tuacahn gift shop. And I'm just like, I can't go anywhere without seeing you guys.
I need a protein bar. And the type of products they've gotten into, the ingredient books, like they've just done such a good job of diversifying. I've said this to you before, that I feel like a decade ago, it was all about the tech startups in Utah. And this decade is all about the health, e-com, product companies in Utah, right? We can get into more of them, but like you look at Clean Simple Eats, you look at Just Ingredients, you look at Kizik, you look at all these massive
Thread.
Yeah, you look at Thread. All of these are the billboards at the point of the mountain
100%.
now. Sure, you still see some of the like homey billboards and stuff like that, but product companies are in their heyday. Yeah,
oh yeah, big time. Yeah, and for those that don't understand or know what Clean Simple Eats does, they do like really the bread and butter, like proteins, greens, collagens, energy, and they have some new products that they're coming out with, like butters, like for running and stuff.
Like they do mostly Clean Simple Eats.
Yep, exactly. I love it. So Clean Simple Eats is just cool. They're just absolutely blowing up. And then the last one that I have on here was Gab Wireless. And I think, one, as I'm a father of two daughters, not old enough to have anywhere near any kind of technology on them at all times. But when I do, like if I ever get a phone, or when my daughter Olivia, she's 4, when she, maybe 5 or 6 or maybe a little later, 100% will be getting a Gab watch for her, just to communicate, because she just likes to just roam around, get out of the house and roam around or walk up and down the street and on her bike or whatever. And it's nice to know that she can have access and we know where she is, and vice versa.
Oh yeah. My little nephew that is 10 years old now and is constantly out and about has a Gab watch, and very limited in what it can do, very limited in who they can speak to,
on purpose. Yeah.
Such a game changer for kids and parents, and being able to know where your kids are, and security and safety. And that company is just doing so well. And Nate, the owner of that company,
he's
has
awesome.
Such great initiatives and missions, trying to help people like single mothers get employed.
Yeah, he's really he's taken maybe personal. It's not personal vendetta, but it's
made it a mission.
He's made it his personal mission. Yeah, it's personal mission, 100%, to serve and find not only jobs for single mothers, but like find and help single mothers that need help, whether it be financially, whether it be, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Making sure that they're served.
Company.
Yep. Another product
coming
company.
Out of Utah. I think
so those are my 4.
Another one that's not on my list is Owlet. more for babies and knowing their health data, which I already love tracking my health data. I have a watch on that tells me my heart rate and tells me how I do when I sleep, how much sleep I get, my variable, whatever's, all that crap. And it kind of makes me a hypochondriac. So the reason I didn't put Owlet on my list is because I think it just will make hypochondriac parents worse.
Yeah, maybe gets
but
some stress.
It's very beneficial and killing it. Another product / software company like Gab that is maybe tailored more towards health data it's a sock that you can put on your baby's foot while they sleep. But okay, so those are your 4 then.
Those
You've
are my
got
4.
Press Floral, Clean Simple Eats, Connect, and Gab Wireless.
Yep.
Great companies. All right, a few of mine. Gab Wireless was on my list as well, just because I'm so impressed with what they've done. I'm so impressed with their CEO, and I just think they're doing great things.
Hopefully we have Nate on the podcast. Maybe this is
a plug.
The plug to get Nate on.
Kizik is on my list because I am so fascinated with Hands-Free Labs. They've,
wearing Kiziks today.
You're wearing Kiziks. Boom.
Yep.
Kiziks not only are cool for a younger generation, like people in their 20s or 30s travel a lot, but also fantastic for old people that can't bend down and tie their shoes. What Kizik is it's a shoe where they've patented a technology that has laces. It looks like a normal shoe, but you can just slip right into it because the back heel will pop down and up.
Yep.
The thing that I love about what they're doing is, one, they've crushed their marketing. They're selling millions of shoes a month.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
To both young and old audiences, both men and women.
Yeah, like I don't have trouble putting on my shoes, but somehow it's the shoe that I put on every morning before I leave.
Right, and they're very comfortable.
Yeah.
I wore them in Disneyland.
Yeah.
And I wore them in Europe, and they felt great.
Yeah.
And they looked good.
And they're coming out with a lot of cool new styles that I feel like are a little more like trendy.
Yeah, and they're partnering with the biggest brands in the world. And I don't know if that's public information, but from what it looks like, I'm seeing Nike release something like that. I'm seeing Skechers release something like that. I would assume they're using the Hands-Free Labs, aka Kizik's patent.
Yeah.
So pretty amazing that they've been able to do all of this, and just very inspired by them as a product company.
Yeah, they just did a collaboration with Jet Puffed, like the marshmallows.
Yes, yeah,
and they did like a marshmallow shoe, and it was kind of it's a cool looking shoe. I'm sure it's like super comfy, but it's very marshmallowy looking.
Such a cool company, and again, a product company just crushing it in Utah.
Yeah.
And one of the billboards you're going to see at the point of the mountain, which
100%.
I love to see product companies killing it. The reason Bloom is amazing is because they're helping staff through Latin America, where it's helping people scale much quicker at a much more cost-effective rate.
Yeah.
And I think that not only is it benefiting the companies here, it's giving great living wages to the people in Latin America that want jobs that help them learn English and help them learn some of these technical skills. So companies like that, I think, are just going to keep growing because that is becoming more and more popular.
Especially as inflation here continues to rise and people are looking to cut costs. Like, it's the number one thing that they're going to do is, and so anyways.
Customer support roles, things like that. So my advice is learn a skill that makes you extremely valuable.
Yeah.
Don't just get stuck in customer support, because those roles can be outsourced very quickly.
Yeah.
And I think Bloom is killing it. They were sponsored at Silicon Slopes. They're young. The only 2 staff members they have in the United States are here, and everyone else is overseas. They they practice what they preach, so it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Another one would be Cotopaxi. Weirdly enough, I don't love Cotopaxi stuff. Like, I don't love
I feel
the
like
colorful.
they serve a very unique niche in terms of like the designs that they come up with.
But I love the concept.
Yes.
And I love the collaboration.
100%.
I think that they've done a great job making sure, again, that the people that make the products are earning a living wage, and they are getting people in, I think, Peru to make the product. Yeah,
and Davis Smith, like
the founder,
the founder, he is just an amazing man. He's now the founder and chairman. He stepped down as the CEO to serve as a mission president
Yep.
for the LDS Church, or Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. But he's just an amazing man, very mission-driven person, and he's passed that throughout their whole company.
Yeah. And again, another product company, strong why behind what they do.
Yes.
They're giving living wages to the people making their clothing and bags, which is not common in the world, right? Like Nike is not paying a living wage to the people making their shoes overseas.
Yeah.
So to see that we have a strong ethical mission behind the brand is really inspiring. And I hope to see more companies do that. So even Kizik, please, Kizik, follow in Cotopaxi's path. So last two real quick. One would be Parlay. We had Pete Larkin on, and I just loved the concept of his business because
It's super cool.
Annual software contracts where you have to pay everything up front are freaking stupid.
Yes.
And you should be able to pay monthly. So Parlay helps annual software contracts. You go pay for Salesforce and it's $60,000 for the year. That's a big chunk of change for a business. So
at one time,
them to be able to say, okay, Parlay will pay that in full, and then you pay Parlay monthly. Cool concept. I think they're going to grow a lot.
Yep.
So shout out to Pete. Last one's Aubergine Kitchen. Because I love their initiative of health.
Yes.
They only cook with olive oil. They don't cook with seed oils. All the food that they cook is organic. They actually make kale taste good.
Yeah, they do. Like if
So
if you haven't been to Aubergine in Utah, you have to go check it out. They're definitely they're up and coming, and it's kind of cool. He worked with, Matt and Devin, who helped really shape taking them from their, more or less their little retail space that they had in food truck into what it is today. And it's been cool. I mean, it's really cool offering good food.
Yeah.
Clean food.
I love the food. It's clean. Even their drinks, they don't offer any drinks with sugar. They don't offer any soda. So I just think it's amazing what they're doing. They're making clean, healthy eating accessible instead of seeing, more Popeyes and more, what's that freaking...
Hey, don't hate on Popeyes because Popeyes is the best. But, Aubergine, it's filling a space, right? It's filling a space and a need. It's Brazilian based. It has got some Brazilian roots, and it's Brazilian kind of base food.
But the weird thing is the food is not Brazilian.
Yeah, but I think a lot of the
gluten-free.
ingredients I think they use are traditionally Brazilian, from what I understand. But
It's like... The best way to describe it is American bowls but they're kind of Brazilian. The one thing they're doing poorly is the fact that they name themselves Aubergine, which is like Brazilian for eggplant. I don't even think they serve eggplant. And I don't know if they have any traditional Brazilian dishes other than the cheese bread.
Yeah.
But I just love that it's clean. They're not cooking with seed oils. They're not cooking with sugar. They're not offering sugar. And it still tastes good. And a kid can actually get mac and cheese there, and it's a vegan mac and cheese that tastes amazing. So, but they have options for everyone. It's really good, really clean. And I think that is an area that will continue to grow, just like Clean Simple Eats.
For sure.
Because people are going to get more concerned with health and how health is a currency that, the more we have of it, the longer we're going to live. And
totally
that is
agree.
becoming more and more popular in Utah. Businesses are killing it doing that. So those are mine. Sorry, I kind of had a few extra.
No, I think it's awesome. I feel like we hit the gamut of product and tech and all sorts of stuff. And it honestly, the cool thing about Utah is it's really startup friendly, right? We call, for those that aren't based in Utah, we colloquially call it the Silicon Slopes as more or less a competitor to Silicon Valley. Utah is the number one economy right now in the United States. We're definitely in the top, I believe, top 3 or top 5 for places to start a business, especially in the tech space. We have probably, I'm probably overestimating, but dozens of $1 billion exits here in Utah and IPOs. In recent years. Especially in recent years. And then on top of that, a ton of really cool product companies. You mentioned a whole bunch in your list. So it's a cool place to start a business.
You know what? destroyed on TikTok recently for talking about why Utah's such a great place to start a business.
And most everybody is maybe tell people what people were getting pissed about.
Yeah. So I had posted a bit from one of our TikToks. I had posted a bit from one of our podcasts about how Utah's a great place to start a business because of the sense of community. There's a lot of people here who are members of the LDS church. There's a lot of people here who are not members of that church. But overall, the community in Utah is strong because that most neighbors know each other, right? When you go to other states, neighbors don't know each other as well as they do here, regardless of your faith. And if you have neighbors here that are like culty and get together and are like, oh, we're not going to talk to you because you don't go to the LDS church, like those neighbors suck.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't like those neighbors. I get it. And a lot of people were tearing down that. They're like, I don't feel a sense of community in Utah because I don't go to church. And if they feel that, like, totally valid, and they should get involved in community. I even brought up Tacos Together. Like, get on LinkedIn. There's a huge sense of community for startups here in Utah, 100%. And it has nothing to do
with the church
at all.
Yeah.
Half the people there are Mormon, half the people there are not. You mentioned that Utah has the number one economy. That's according to U.S. News.
Yeah.
And you could probably find something that says different, but we go with U.S. News because we live in Utah. Yeah. It has the best economy for a reason. It's not just a random state in the middle of the country. Like, there is a huge sense of community here. There's a huge sense of purpose and values here.
And there's also, like what they mentioned in Silken Slopes, like we have huge school and a student base here. We've got some major universities with a huge student population that help that one, like, foster innovation, but also are able to, like, employ, for these more or less startups, right?
Yeah. Our education system here is phenomenal. Like, we're recording this podcast in a K through 12 education program where they're learning how to record podcasts. Like, this is an amazing place.
Yeah, there just needs to be more investment. Teachers need to be paid more.
Yeah, right.
Like,
right.
I think Utah's on the bottom end of that list in terms of investment in education, which is really interesting, like in terms of like teacher pay and everything. So all of that needs to catch up and become a lot better. But in terms of like, and I guess we have probably a really good ROI on the education investment that is really small, but
I think Utah is lowest spending.
Yeah. Like the amount or the caliber, I guess, of students here and the caliber of the education here is really high.
Yeah, because I think there's a really strong sense of important. There's a really big emphasis on the importance of education and making sure that we do that here. But so to all the haters that came at me, Utah is the number one economy in the country, and it's for a reason. It's not just some random state with a bunch of oil, right? Like, we actually have strong business minds here in Utah, and it's due to the fact that we have a strong sense of community here. We have a great education system here, and there's a lot of inspiration because there are so many startups here.
Yep.
I think the founder of Netflix was at Silicon Slopes.
Reed Hastings.
Yeah. Reed Hastings said, if I were to start Netflix again, I would start it in Utah.
Yeah.
And
now
I'm quoting
he's a
him
resident.
on that because he said it.
Yeah, he said it. And I believe he is like a full-time resident now. He
owns Powder Mountain.
Yeah. I think he lives in Eden. But super, super cool. I think we've got a really unique place. And I would implore you, if you are in Utah and you don't feel like you're a part of a community,
reach out. We'll help you get
reach out to us or start your own. Like, there's so much support and there's so much room here for continuing to grow, whatever your niche is,
Totally. Well, let's wrap this up with a few things. Two questions. 5 things that you would never do as a business owner. And then 5 things you do a million times again.
Okay. So 5 things I'd never do as a business owner again. I think underinvest in oneself. I think for a long time I had, and this is I feel like before Scroll, like I really had my mindset on one thing and I didn't really grow like my skill set. I wasn't growing like outside of what I was doing, right? Even personally. And I now will never not do that again. Like I am constantly learning, you know me, like constantly consuming or constantly learning things, and also trying to work on myself and my family. Right. And that's one thing I'd never do, would never do as a business owner that I'm now really focused on. Second thing, worry about the things that don't matter. So, and I put like sunrises in the morning. So I think there's a lot of things that you can worry about running a business. But there's always some people may not say this, but there's always another day. Like the sun always rises unless you get hit by a truck. There's like way more important things to worry about. So worry about the important things.
And I think a good metaphor for that is I remember I booked a trip to Hawaii and I checked the weather constantly before I went. I was like, what's the weather going to be like? And it was going to rain 2 or 3 days. Yeah. And I kept getting upset. I'm like, oh no, it's going to rain. Oh no, oh no, oh no.
Except you're sitting on a beach in Hawaii.
And I can't control the weather.
Yep.
Right? Like control what you can control. Don't worry about things you can't control. 100%. If I'm sitting there trying to worry about that, like it's literally something I can't control. Why would I worry about it?
Yeah, 100%. Attitude is gratitude, and attitude is everything. Like, yeah, you can really, the only thing we can control is how we think and our attitude. So like control that and things will work out. You know, it's not the end of the world.
An example would be do your best design on a website build and send it to the customer, and you can't control their reaction, right?
Yeah. And then my third thing is like just being disorganized, like not using a CRM or a project management software. We did that for a while and it was a little chaotic. Yes. So like I think one thing to learn is like just get really organized, use a CRM, use a project management software like Monday.com. That's what we use now, and it's completely changed our business. And then the last thing I'd never do again, well, I guess would never do as a business owner. We're now trying to do it, but trying to do everything yourself. I think that's one thing that, at least at the beginning, you probably need to try and do as much as you can by yourself and really understand a lot of things. But overall, long term, it will harm, growth. Your business can only grow as far as what you know, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So you need to bring in other people and get advisors or bring in, people that can work for you and help you grow and expand out of what you know.
Yeah. Hire people smarter than you that know more than you. Right?
Yep.
Totally.
And then do you want to do yours?
Yeah. So for me, I would say things that I would never do as a business owner. I would never get upset at someone for trying to get gigs on the side or trying to build a business on the side. I know someone directly that has a boss that gets mad anytime they do something on the side. Yeah. And I think that is the worst form of leadership on the face of the earth. Especially
these days when like inflation is so high and the cost of living is just out the wazoo.
It shows that you care 0% about the person.
Yeah, 100%.
And all you care about is your business.
Yeah, like most people need multiple income streams right now, or they need their spouse working to literally be able to like afford to just live.
Yeah, so I would never try and hold someone captive to only working for me. I would want them to be able to expand their horizons, learn more, grow, do anything that they can. That's something that I guess I would never do. I'd never lie to a customer to get paid or land a job. I think that if I'm being 100% honest with myself, I've probably done that in the past. I've probably fibbed a little bit about my expertise, or I've fibbed about my capabilities just to land the gig and figured it out later, luckily, and made it work. But that's one thing that I would never do. I would never lie to a customer to get paid or try and land a job. I think that it's the quickest path to failure and shame as a business owner.
Yeah, 100%. Integrity is everything, man. I remember.
Yeah, you want me to redo it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay. Another thing that I would never do is I would never lie to a customer to get paid or land a job. I think that if I'm being 100% honest with myself, I've probably fibbed at times on my expertise or my abilities to just land the job, or I've made small white lies that spiraled and got worse, and I had to refund a customer or something. If I can't think of a specific example of that, but I'm sure that I did it early on.
Yeah.
Because I think my attitude has changed a lot. And I think being ethical and honest are the two things that will get you so far ahead in business, because it's crazy how many people out there will lie just to land a job or a customer.
Yeah.
So I would never, ever lie to a customer just to land a job or get paid.
Yeah. Integrity is everything. I think, I remember hearing a story about, it's like basically a golf metaphor. Like golf is like, you always take your business people golfing. And if you see them cheating, you don't do business with them, basically. I can't remember where I heard that, but like, I think, it rings true. Like integrity 100% is everything. Like honesty, transparency, you will never regret it. It may not get you as far as people who do lie, cheat, steal, to be like perfectly frank in this world, but it will eventually, bite you in the butt, either legally, morally, or ethically, right? Mm-hmm. All of those things, it will eventually come back to you in some way.
Totally. I would never take all the profits in the first few years if I'm trying to build an empire. If I'm building a solopreneur business, then I would take profits, but I would never again take, and we didn't, but I would never take all the profits in the first few years. I'd use them to grow the business. I would never make anyone work on a Saturday or Sunday. I'd let that be their choice, but I would never make them work on a Saturday or Sunday. And those are some of mine.
I think those are awesome, man. It's when we talk about these things, it's been, I guess, interesting in my head just to look back just to like the last couple of years and what we would have done differently now and what we're starting to do better. The next question was 5 things we would do again as a business owner, or what we would suggest to do as a business owner. So my 4, outsource faster. So,
and my first is hire more overseas.
Yeah. Like outsource faster. And then this kind of ties into it, but learn 80% of what needs to be known, or maybe even 50% of what needs to be known for that particular task or skill. Like if you know the majority of what needs to be done, you can hire somebody that maybe really knows what they're doing, and at least you know what they're doing.
We had the conversation yesterday where I brought up to you that it's a part of our business I don't know a lot about. Yeah. And I was like, you got to describe this to me like I'm a little kid.
Yeah. And we had to we just slowed way down. Yeah. We went through it just to make sure everybody understood. And like, I think just you should know 80% of what needs to be done so that when you do outsource it, you at least know it's going well. Yeah. Right. If you have no idea what's going on.
You can't outsource if you don't know what needs to be done.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't know what's going on, then you can get taken advantage of. And we've seen that time and time again. Totally. The 2 other things. 1, invest in content earlier on. So this is something that like is honestly a huge regret, like personal regret of mine, that I didn't push harder for us to do it sooner. And I know we had a lot of conversations about doing it, but we always just got caught up in day to day and, more or less running the business, not necessarily building content and focusing on higher level stuff. I think that I really regret that. I'm so glad we're doing it now. But if you're starting a business today, invest in content, invest in your story, like invest in sharing that story in a really meaningful way, because that is how you build businesses now. Mm-hmm. That's how you build businesses in the TikTok world of today, is documenting your story. It's a really, great exercise, not only for yourself, but for the business. Last thing is like focus on growth and high level activities for like earlier on and as long as you can. Like don't get sucked into day to day. And I'm the worst of that, because I'm very much I
love you, but you are the worst.
Yeah. Like you just get like, I'm a good executioner. Like I like somebody needs something done, it's going to get done.
If we need something done, you can do it.
Yeah, for sure. And that's just I think that's my attitude. That's my hard work, like personality. So that's something that I've really needed to, work on, and I'm still working on.
Yeah. So. No, me too. Okay. To quickly recap mine, I think I would say I'd hire overseas faster so that we could have more bandwidth,
Yeah.
a more affordable rate. I'd do that again a million times. I would treat my team like gold here in the States. I think that's one thing that I've failed at times, is making sure that I show our team how valued they are and how much I feel like we need them. So that's always worth investing your time into, making sure that they feel appreciated, cared for, and valued for the job they're doing, because they are saving you time.
Yeah.
And if they're not saving you time, and if they're causing more headaches, then I would let them go.
Yeah. And
Immediately.
work on it with them to move them on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say is you'll never regret saving money. I think saving money is critical. And other than that, I'm reading Reed Hastings' book right now,
Yeah.
No Rules Rules, and I love the concept of always do what's in the best interest of your business. So
no matter what.
Yeah,
basically.
no matter what. Always do what's in the best interest of your business, and always be ethical, and your business will do well. Those two things in tandem you're not going to fail.
Yeah. It's been fun. I'm listening to it with you, and it's been fun.
It's such a good book.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued by it. But
yeah.
And you'll also never regret not working. I guess the other thing I do is I would get out of the day-to-day as fast as possible and into working on the business.
Yeah.
The reasons we have seen struggles to grow at times is because we get so sucked into working in the business and not on the business. This is us working on the business.
Yeah.
Us building websites or building ad campaigns is us working in the business.
Yep.
And we have great people on our team that can do that. So you'll never regret working on the business instead of in it if you can afford and have people to do that for you. So
100%.
Those are mine.
I love it. And I think hopefully these are good pieces of advice. I feel like they are, and I feel like they're, something that if you do put these to practice, that they will help. They may not help immediately or overnight, but like as we've seen, like compounding, right? Yeah. Like just over
it's
time,
all compounding interest.
100%. And one of the books that you and I both have enjoyed was Atomic Habits, and it's like just putting these little small habits into place one at a time, trying to become the person either you want to become or trying to become the business you want to become, one day at a time. Just take it one day at a time. Start implementing things every single day to like get you to where you are. And then eventually in a year, you'll see all the compounding effects of what you've, put all the work in every single day for a whole year, and then take that and compound it by 5 years, right?
Yeah. And that's what's happened to us. If we could show you a photo of us from the day we started this business to now, it's much different.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Is there anything else we want to go over?
I don't think so, man. I think this is a good part 2, episode 1 of season 2. We're excited. We may do a couple other additional like single episodes with you and I this season, but
we'll have to get questions from people.
Yeah.
What they want to hear.
Yeah, for sure. But we're excited for all the guests that are going to be on, and every episode from here on out, we'll definitely probably have a guest on. So,
yeah. So let us know who you want to hear from next.
Sounds good.
And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Episode 1, part 2, season 2, Scroll Sessions.
Love it.